All right, welcome. This is Nick and Billy here for episode number two. How you doing today, Billy?
I'm doing all right, Nick. How are you?
I'm feeling pretty good today. We're getting to do episode two, so
Yeah, we
I'm
did it.
excited. So we did talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing before we started this. So we're just going to jump right into some headlines that we wanted to talk about. We're going to start with the new Captain America coming out here. You want you start us off, Billy?
Yeah, so obviously, the big headline in the news nowadays, or in the past couple days, today really, is Anthony Mackie's quote recently at a press junket in Europe, where he said something that a lot of people took, I think, the wrong way. He recently came out just a few hours ago and clarified his statement. And you and I were just talking about this a little bit before. Let me read the quote first. He says, "Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and I'm taking on the shield of a hero like Cap. And taking on the honor of a shield like Cap is the honor." Let me start over. Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to. And that's exactly before you and I even read that quote, that's what we were talking about. Like he was
Mhm.
saying Captain America doesn't stand for just the term America. He even made the hand motion if you watch the clip on Twitter. Uh, he was very simply saying, and then he went on to talk about characteristics and traits that make up Captain America. Like, Superman, for example, says truth,
Right, exactly.
justice, and the American way. The American way isn't, America. It's, those qualities that make, what he stands for.
Exactly. And again, it kind of bothered me just to see a lot of other commentators just kind of lash out. Well, this is Captain America and he's America. I mean, well, yeah, duh. But like that's not what these say. I mean, these movies are not just made for
Yeah.
Americans. They're made for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's the ideal. So,
Oh, you froze for a second there, Nick. Nick, you there?
I mean, I get well on because
You there? You're frozen.
all right, did I get cut off?
Yeah, you got cut off midway through there.
Internet
But
connection.
you're on track saying just they're not made for specifically American audiences. They're made for European audiences, and he was specifically, context is everything. We'll talk about that a lot on the show. And he was in context, he was at a European junket talking to a bunch of Italians, I believe. So
Right, right. Yeah.
let's do it.
I think it's just been, we don't even need to dwell on it because
Yeah.
it's just something that's being blown out of proportion. But what I would like to talk about is just what we think is going to, how we think this movie's going to do. We kind of already know what the premise is. Um, it's going to be, you know, Harrison Ford's character working with Anthony Mackie's character. And then, you have the leader in the background, which I think is really cool that they brought back the same actor from the Edward Norton Hulk
Tim Blake
as
Nelson.
yeah, yeah, he's cool. I thought that was pretty cool that they brought him back. I like when they do that and they keep it continuous like that.
Yeah, when they
So,
follow up on things.
right, right, right. Now, the big thing that I kind of am just afraid of is that it's just going to be a whole bunch of gobbledygook mashed together, a whole bunch of explosions, and it's not really going to make sense because I mean we've heard like rewrites, reshoots, all this stuff that's been going on. I mean the prediction for it is not very good.
Yeah.
What do you think on this?
I have mid mid grade, like I'm not super hyped for it to be honest, but
Yeah.
I have hopes for it. I have the expectation, or not expectation, but I anticipate being pleasantly surprised for whatever reason. That's kind of where my mind's at. Yeah,
Hmm.
the rewrites are the thing that scares me the most. The coming off the show Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was like really, I liked that show. Like I
I
thought
did too.
pretty cool. The ending was a little, mishmashed. I know they had to do a bunch of rewrites on that and whatnot. But like coming off that, I was psyched about the writer being continuing on to get this movie, Marcus Spellman, and
Hmm.
that story probably got picked apart his original story, and Lord knows what it is now. They brought in Giancarlo Esposito from the chicken guy from Breaking Bad,
Hmm.
um, who's playing Sidewinder, I think, for the part of the Serpent Society, which I don't, I
Yeah,
think the Serpent Society was part of it, and then they took it out, and now it's back in
right.
apparently.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns. I don't know. Yeah, just go in my big questions going into Cap 4. Uh, Following up on Tiamat, you know, the Eternals was one of my favorite movies of Phase 4. I know I'm in the minority there, but I really liked it. I dug the sci-fi aspects and everything. And I really want to, follow up on that, the Tiamat. I wish it had, won't get into all the problems, scientifically, it would have more of an effect on the atmosphere and, like a lot of
Right.
earthquakes around, but, at least address the big, giant in the ocean. Um,
Which I think they are going to do because I'm pretty sure it's like they've found adamantium in there, and then all the countries are scrambling to mine the adamantium. And the theory is that like in the end or something like that, like or one theory I've heard, it's like Doctor Doom is the one who gets all the adamantium or something like that. I
you
don't know.
think he
That was
shows up
just
in this movie?
well, that was a theory somebody was saying that
Yeah,
like
no
because all
way.
yeah that because all the countries are trying to get the adamantium to make sure that they're protected. But um, one of the things, I mean, again, I wanted to address, which I kept on hearing from other commentators about this, is that he's not Captain America because he's not Chris Evans. Well, okay, yes, that makes sense, but at the same time, it's not going to make or break this movie. It didn't in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't think it's going to now, but yes, it does make a difference that he's not Chris Evans is not Captain America. But you could have had somebody else play Captain America in the Captain America movies, but what made the Captain America movies good was just how they were made, the
Yeah.
stories that were told. We were talking about this before. It's, the first one. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with, a dude fighting Nazis in the 40s. I mean, it's going to be a good movie. The second one, was something I hope that this one's going to have is a lot of espionage. Because the second one, Captain America Winter Soldier, it's like spy versus spy. He's trying to regain his buddy. There's a lot of espionage going on. And then the third one, there was pretty much like a an Avengers movie, but it was still Captain America and his buddy, fighting Robert Downey Jr. So
It
you're
dealt
not
with
going
the
to go wrong.
government again, like
Yeah.
that's been kind of the common thread throughout it all is, like the reason Steve Rogers was worthy to take the super soldier serum in the beginning was because he, threw himself on that grenade in front of Tommy Lee Jones. Uh, you know, uh, I forget where I was going with that point, but yeah, oh, that's where I was going with that point. Anthony Mackie earned that throughout the movie.
Right.
Rewatching phase two, I think he was introduced, phase two and three. He earned that spot as Cap. So when he handed him that shield at the end of Endgame, I thought it was appropriate and I could see it moving forward. So let's see it. That's my thing about this movie. Is like it's long overdue. I think maybe if this movie had come out and there was no pandemic a few years ago, and this had come out a few years ago, I think it would have done much better than it will
Hmm.
do right now. But I still have, high hopes for it. And honestly, this can be a segue into our next topic too. I'm really interested how this pairing of movies, this Cap 4 and Thunderbolts, are gonna like play into each other.
Hmm.
The overall MCU narrative, if Cap 4 is kind of the focus on the government, Thunderbolt seems like maybe the anti-government, like Julia Louis Dreyfus. I can never say that name without
Hmm.
stuttering. Seems to be creating her own. She's the head of the CIA, right?
I don't know what she's the head of. I always thought her character was a villain in like the comics, but I don't know. I don't really
Anti-hero, I
remember.
think.
All I do know is that they're introducing Sentry into it, which is pretty much like Marvel's like Superman,
Right.
which is they're gonna have to depower him somehow because it's like having Captain Marvel in there. I mean, it's if Captain Marvel was in any of these movies, the movie would be over before it started because she would just
Yeah.
overpower everything. I mean, that's what like Sentry is. He's like pretty much like Marvel's Superman. But
Right. And
um,
so
I
right there, that was we talked a little bit before the show about our worries about these movies coming up, and my big worry for Thunderbolts is the character Sentry, how he plays. The as the story goes in the comics, he was kind of, a forgotten piece of history. Maybe it was like I forget what it was in the comics, but similar to the Doctor Strange spell that, made everybody forget Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
mm,
That spell made everybody forget Sentry ever existed and hid all these visual cues that he was around in the world. So I don't love that. um you know Revisionist history kind of stuff, like go are they going to go back and like he was, there was a hidden Sentry symbol all along on Avengers Tower. I don't love things like that, but maybe it could really be cool. So that's honestly my big worry about Thunderbolts. And if that hits, I think this could be like the coolest movie ever. If it doesn't hit, I'm
I'm I'm excited for. I mean, because you know it's going to be a comparison to. I mean, it's because it's pretty much just like Dark Avengers. It's a
right.
group of super powered people together, just like the Avengers were. I'm kind of excited for. You know who I liked from Falcon and the Winter Soldier was John Walker. I'm excited to see him.
USA,
I mean,
right.
because he got the super soldier serum,
Mhm.
and I'm excited to see his character do his thing. Winter Soldier. I am not excited for Ghost or Taskmaster. I am excited for David Harborough's character. I don't know what his
Cass?
name is.
Oh, David Harbour. Yeah. Oh, the Russian,
Yeah, it's like the Russian Captain America,
Red Guardian.
Red
Um,
Guardian.
who, yeah, my theory, I think he's going to eat it. He's going to be the comedic relief, the comedy relief in the throughout the movie, and then, second act maybe he's going to eat it in a dramatic fashion, and that's going to motivate Yelena to, either change up the mission or change up their allegiance or whatever.
Uh-huh.
That pivotal moment in the middle. So that's my
Do you
prediction.
think do you think they're gonna do kind of a romantic story between Winter Soldier and Yelena?
I'd like Bucky to get some love. He
I
deserves
know, right?
love.
I mean, I can see them getting
What?
together.
Okay, so my biggest beef with the trailers that have come out is the fact that Yelena and Bucky have the same haircut. It's just blonde and dark hair. Like it looks ridiculous. I don't know if that's on intentional, like if it was on purpose, why? But if it
Hmm.
was unintentional, like why didn't you notice that and give them different haircuts? But
Hmm.
we'll see.
Hmm.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, if they can make it uh just dark, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I mean, if they
Like
can make it dark,
Suicide Squad, the
y-
Suicide Squad
I mean,
dark.
kind of. I mean, like more like not like they're gonna kill off the all those characters right away, but more like,
Right,
hey,
right.
they're gonna go in there and murk people, and they're not gonna hold back and stuff like that. I think that it could set it apart. I mean, if
So
they would have made this like an R movie, it could be better,
So if
in
this
my
is a
opinion.
step down from like in violence, graphic violence, from DC and what the Suicide Squad did, maybe just one character dies in the beginning, like
Right.
Ghost or Taskmaster, um, off them pretty early in the beginning, and
Hmm.
that's kind of ups the stakes right off the bat. So I could definitely
Hmm.
see that happening.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on what the actual
Oh, you're frozen again.
like a square that.
Hey,
Oh,
Nick, you froze up again.
oh yeah, here we
All
go.
right.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
I was saying I don't. really know what the premise is going to be. If it's going to be like, they're a group like the Suicide Squad that goes in to recover Sentry or take him out or something like that. I mean, I can see that being it, but I mean, who knows?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, so you want to move on to Fantastic Four?
yeah, yeah. So, what are your first thoughts on what you think? Like, do you think it's going to be a success, or you think it's going to go the way of Fox Fantastic Four?
I think it's going to be a success, but I think it's going to be different than everybody is expecting. I think it's going to be very different from any other Marvel movie that's been made so far. Little on the goofy side, but in a good way, I think, I hope. I think having an anchor like Pedro Pascal as
Hmm.
Mr. Fantastic, I mean, he literally is just fantastic ever
Hmm.
since I first saw him in Game of Thrones. Um, and yeah, I really look forward to seeing the cast gel. I liked the movies growing up. We had what we had at the time. Looking back, like the second movie was terrible, Rise of Silver Surfer. So like, and then the third one just, like first half of that movie was good, arguably. Second half fell apart. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what this new iteration of Fantastic Four is going to be, and what first steps. I think that's the most intriguing part to me. They added that subtitle of first steps. And I
Yeah.
want to know what that means.
Do you know when it's supposed to take place? Like, is it supposed to take place like post Endgame, or is this supposed to be taking
This is
place
alternate
before
universe. This is in
alternate universe?
yeah,
Ah,
different.
okay. Yeah. You know, so it's supposed to be, Galactus. They're supposed to be battling Galactus. And then what I heard, it could possibly lead to Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom at the end, which is going to lead into Doomsday. Um, which again, I mean, I'm not against, but that,
Good. Sorry.
but I was going to say is that I don't know. Fantastic Four hasn't had a good track record. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way. Um, I mean, I can't. It's unfair to compare it to the old movies because again, this is Disney. Those were Fox. I don't even know did Fox make the other Fantastic Four movie, the more recent
Yeah.
one? Yeah. But if they're going to lead into Avengers Doomsday, I mean, this has got to be what the tie-in's going to be. I mean, unless they're going to come out with like another fantastic. I mean, no, Doomsday's supposed to come out like in 2026, right? I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, yeah,
26.
yeah. So this has got to be like the segue into Doomsday. I mean, it has to be.
Mhm.
Because those are the only three Marvel movies coming out this year, and I don't know, there's not any Marvel series coming out this year, right?
Yeah, there's what is coming? Oh, Daredevil, Born
Oh
Again.
yeah, that's right, 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 yeah.
I think that's the only one.
But so okay, as far as all three of these movies are concerned, here's my take on it. I think that's gonna make them flop. I mean, yeah, storytelling number one. Number two is if they dump too much stupid comedy into these,
Yeah.
like Thor: Love and Thunder type crap, where everything, like the most serious situation, and they make a pun out of it or something like that. I mean, it's come on, let's just leave that. We don't need it.
Right.
That's what's going to take down some of these movies. And here's what I've seen. And if you look at on these trailers, if they start showing or having a classic rock soundtrack in the trailer, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's a good theory. I could see that theory. But
But what do you think? What do you think as far as do you think these are going to all be success? Do you think some things are going to flop?
I think Captain America will do all right because of the time of year, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
February, I'm ready to go see a movie. The last one I saw, it's been a while since December or so. Thunderbolts, I think, depending on how Cap 4 goes, I think Thunderbolts will play off of that, so hopefully do pretty well.
Hmm.
And then Fantastic Four, I really think they need to move their date. They're on the same week, coming out the same weekend right now as Superman, and they're going to get demolished. Like, I'm going to see Superman over Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. And so, like, if they try to hold to that same weekend release, yeah, it's just not Not going
Isn't
to
it
go well for
July?
Marvel. What's that?
Isn't it July?
Yeah, July 25th or something like that.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
I agree with you. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, if they Superman will crush that. I can definitely say that.
yeah.
Unless Superman's a bad movie. I mean, it could be.
No, no way. Well, okay, so real quick, we got about 5 minutes left. So let's cover a couple other topics. Just and you hit on Superman right there. Like the only thing, like the Snyder Bros are starting to come after that movie already. Did you see the new TV spot that they had, and everybody's starting to complain about it?
Mm-mm.
There, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 used this like it's a new film trend film shot trend where it's like an extreme close up and like it creates like a fisheye effect almost. So like Superman does like in this trailer kind of have a googly eye effect, but like whatever. It's like a literally a split second shot. Like who cares? And it's gonna be followed up by a different shot, and then it'll be followed up by another shot. So like all these shots go together to make a movie. So I'm not worried about one silly shot. Um, that said, I think Superman's gonna do awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Um,
you want to wrap up
but
with Star Wars?
yeah, so they just dropped the Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. I think that's going to be good.
It
Uh,
looks cool. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I've seen the rumblings of it.
I mean, it's pretty much this character, all I don't know what happens. He finds some sort of Lego piece, and then all of Star Wars timelines get all mixed up, and it's like characters or other characters, and like and I mean Mark Hamill's going to be in it as Luke Skywalker. Jar Jar Binks, the guy who plays Jar Jar Binks, he's going to
On
be
that
Darth
bus.
Jar Jar. I think it's going to be good. I really do. I think that, some of the things that, Lego movies they do right is
Yeah.
they do stuff like this and it's good. It works.
Yeah, I
Um,
like the Lego Star Wars the Halloween special, the Christmas
mm.
special that they've had. Like they've been always very good, so I'm looking forward to that.
And then we got to talk about they just announced Ryan Gosling in talks with Sean Levy to star in Sean Levy's standalone Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
Um, are
interesting.
you psyched for him to be a character?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I've really liked Ryan Gosling a long time. I think I don't know what the first thing I saw him in was, but the first thing I was like, he's awesome was Drive. Um,
Yeah.
and so that for some reason leads me to think he's going to be, I just picture him as a space mechanic for some reason. So like, and yeah, I think there was an old Lego Star Wars show about like a space mechanic, um, some adventure thing. Anyway, maybe it's a play on that, because Sean Levy is a really creative dude. He kind of has off the wall ideas like Free Guy. I really love Free Guy.
Hmm.
Um, and so I could see something like that playing into the Star Wars universe lightly in the way of like, he's a mechanic that runs into a lot of, space truckers and pirates and
That
things
would
like
be
that.
cool.
And
That
yeah,
would be
like, and that's
cool.
how he gets wrapped up in things. And he's this like driver or something, and maybe I'm projecting too
Dude.
much of Drive onto him, but like,
Oh no, that would be
that'll
so
be
cool
cool.
though.
Yeah.
Like a space, like a Star Wars, because that's what he wants to do. Like Sean
Scoundrel.
Levy,
Yeah.
yes, Sean Levy said he wants to do like here's the quote. He goes, "I don't want to do a Star Wars movie that is redundant to others, nor am I interested in doing one that has to serve another movie." So he's doing a standalone movie just somewhere else in the Star Wars universe. And honestly, dude, there's your movie right there. A Star Wars trucker movie
Yeah.
where it's got Ryan Gosling doing
Over
something
the
like that.
top.
Dude,
Remember Sylvester Sly Stallone over the top in
that
space. Let's do it.
that would be I would want
Let's
that
pitch
would
it.
be good. I would be good. So I'm looking forward to that. I think Ryan Gosling is a good pick because I mean, like you said, I really haven't seen him anything bad. Never
No.
saw the Barbie movie, but
Oh, you
I
haven't?
I have not. I heard
Nick, you have a daughter. You have to watch that movie over and over and over again with her. That movie's awesome.
So last thing I wanted to talk about, they did drop an Alien Earth trailer. I don't know if you're a fan of the Alien series.
Yeah, I
Movies
am.
are. I am. This series. It could be. I'm giving this one keep your eye on because I think this
Yeah,
is going to be good. I think the reason why a lot of the Alien movies were not as good was just because they were limited to a movie. I think making this into a series is going
good point.
to definitely open this up. It's supposed to take place about 2 years before the events of the original Alien, but it's like, how are they supposed to do that? I don't know. I know the Alien Romulus took place before the events of Alien, I
Yeah,
believe.
there's that deep fake crossover thing.
hmm So maybe it has something to do with what happened in Alien Romulus and, it gets to Earth or something like that. But all I can say is I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, man. FX shows they do it right. I think they push the limit with the gore and the graphicness. So yeah, I have high hopes. I've always liked all of the Alien movies. Everybody kind of knocks Prometheus in
Mhm.
particular and Requiem. No, not Requiem. What
Covenant.
Covenant. A lot of people hate on that, but I like them all. They're not the best movies, but they're all cool. And so yeah, I haven't thought about this very much, but like yeah, having a chance to dig in deeper in a series, diving deeper into some of the B stories and like
Right.
the machinations of the world. Like let's see it. Yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
I mean, the only thing it's kind of just I'm interested to see is that it takes place on Earth. So,
Yeah, how's it
how,
gonna be cool?
well, I mean, it's just more like, how is that? Because, Alien 2, Aliens, they're on Earth
Yeah.
and then they leave Earth. Like, I mean, how? So they didn't know these freaking things were there. So I guess it's one of those things where it's like, nobody's going to know or they get exploded in the end and then everybody dies and
Yeah.
that's it. But,
Well, hey, we're about
go
to
ahead.
get cut off. So I think we're gonna have to do the wrap up.
Okay. I was gonna say that what I think should be kind of cool is, they're talking about these new Avenger Doomsdays, all these movies in the future. What if that's all a farce and these next movies that come out are set a new precedent and